Bum, 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 two amazing podcast hosts. It's time for Broadway over wine. Three glasses of Pinot makes this evening divine. Forget your troubles and let us entertain you. You know you'll never be lonely with Stefan and Reedy Roo. That's what my grandma calls me.
Reedy Poo?
Reedy Roo.
Welcome to Broadway Over Wine. My name is Stefan Zernecki.
And I'm Reid Arthur.
Yes, you are. Hi, Reid.
Hi, Stefan. Happy Halloween.
Woo! It is Halloween. Are you finally recovered from your infamous Halloween party from the other day?
It was rough. It was a very hard recovery moment. Here's the deal.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't eat before.
Oh, rookie.
I know. I was running around making sure all the details of the party were like,
Mistake.
Yeah, I know. And then I really overdrank. And
It was like the next afternoon and you're like, I don't think I can record today.
I know.
So we pushed it off.
I
heard the neighbors came by.
John did come by. John, shout out to you if you listen to the pod.
Yeah, he should. He should. Yeah, food's an important part.
It is. That really was a rookie mistake.
I learned that at a Polish wedding. My Polish cousin, I was at his wedding, and his brother.
Sarsnecki, a Polish name.
Czarniecki is the Polish pronunciation.
Wow.
But his brother, also my cousin, we were talking. I'm like, bro, I am a lightweight. And I don't want to die from alcohol poisoning tonight, but I also don't want to be rude. He's like, there's gonna be food all night. Just stick to the protein. Don't eat anything but protein. I'm like, okay, fine. They literally did have food all night. All I ate was protein. I probably had 12, 14 shots of vodka throughout this evening from like 7 to 3 in the morning or whatever it was. I did not get a buzz.
Wait, really?
Really?
Well, I wonder, is like American alcohol
extra strong?
Different?
I don't know, but it tasted strong. So now, if I know I'm going to be doing heavy drinking, protein only. Stay away from the carbs and stay away from the dairy.
Okay, good to know.
If you have big drinking. Anyway, so now you know that. So how was your week?
Yeah, week was kind of crazy, filled with kind of huge pop cultural moments in the cultural zeitgeist, if you will.
Yes, sir.
Big Taylor Swift fan as well as, Broadway fan. So have been absorbing the Taylor Swift 1989 version. Or should I say 1989 Taylor's version album?
Bridget has chastised me multiple times for not listening to the vault tracks yet.
Oh, you haven't yet?
All right, now comes your chastisement.
No, I'm not going to chastise, but I am interested in your opinions.
Well,
because I have hot takes when it comes to these
vault tracks.
Yeah.
We'll get Bridget down here after whatever.
Yeah, we'll have to have like a Taylor Swift section of the show.
That's also good for the Patreon.
She'll be our Taylor Swift correspondent.
Breathes fire when it comes to pretty much everything, but especially Tay-Tay.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that and Matthew Perry died.
Matthew Perry, R.I.P.
I know. I live in a big friend's household. My roommates are like huge Friends people, and I hadn't seen it, and so they like recently made me watch all of the series, and it's devastating.
He was my favorite.
Yeah, Chandler.
Done. I mean, I love everybody. I mean, well, maybe not everybody, but he was my favorite. Probably the one I've related to.
Are you a
the
Ross
most.
Hater?
You
hate Ross.
No,
you hate him.
He's kind of trash, but they're all kind of trash.
Yeah, they are in their own way.
We've got a bottle of wine here from Patricia Green Cellars. This is from the Estate Vineyard. This is an old vine. Pinot Noir.
Patty Green.
2019.
Have we had a Patty Green yet?
We have not. No, this is first. R.I.P. Patty Green. She was a winemaking legend. Passed away too soon. Sad to have her taken from us, but her winery presses on.
Yeah.
And the wines are still absolutely stunning. They make tons of different bottlings, like 19 different bottlings. It's something crazy.
Yeah, they have they really do have a wild list.
Yeah.
And in the beautiful Ribbon Ridge.
Yeah.
Their vineyard, you can see from Camp Tillicum. And it's
That's
just
right.
like
It's right there. It's right next
the
door.
rolling beautiful hills in the middle of Camp Tillicum. Shout out to that wonderful place.
We do love Camp Tillicum.
Yeah, we really do.
Yeah, for all of the transgressions of local Quakers over the years, Tillicum is
Beautiful.
still wonderful. And I think wonderful value at Patty Green for what they are, because these are wonderful wines that lay down, but also can be really satisfying right when they're young. Just hats off to them for the consistency and value and not going too crazy. They also have a nice library program, which I really appreciate. They had to sell through a lot of it during COVID, so that's kind of sad that they don't have as big a program anymore. But I also got some dope wines, that were just ready to drink. So nice.
Dope, yeah. I got some dope wines.
All right, let's give this a second.
Well, that really is kind of what you had to do in 2020.
Mm-hmm. Survive. That needs to open up. And still tight. Still yummy, but
well, you know what? We're gonna be here a little bit talking about an incredible show. So I think it's gonna open up by maybe this wine is like Paul, not able to share everything right up front.
Okay, all right.
But as the progression of the show goes on,
it's not gonna break its ankle or knee.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No. Bad metaphor.
Okay. But it's gonna open up. But it also that'll keep us from slugging it down too fast and having to move on to a second bottle.
Totally.
Like we did last week.
Totally.
Rent deserved a second bottle, though.
Yeah.
Rent
really did.
Okay.
That was a marathon.
And
I enjoyed every minute
God bless you guys for listening to all like almost 2 hours of that. Well, if you got through it.
Can I say something?
Yes.
Talking Rent with you upped my appreciation of the show immensely.
Thank you.
I really had a great time.
Me too. I could talk about Rent every week, probably.
I had a marvelous time talking Rent with you.
All right, here we go. Let's get into Broadway news.
Extra, read all about it. I'm terrible at accents, by the way.
You're killing it. The Hunger Games has a stage adaptation on its way, and it is not a prequel. It is not a sequel or it is the original The Hunger Games book being adapted for stage.
Musical or straight play?
Play.
Okay.
So 5-time Tony nominee and Olivier Award winner Connor McPherson, he is helming the adaptation. I kind of feel like it could be fun.
Yeah, you're going to like the staging is going to have to be really creative. But if they do it right, I would go see it.
It's probably going to start over in on the West End, but I'm intrigued. I'm very intrigued.
It's starting on the West End?
I think that was the plan here, but it's just, the news about it was just being released, so.
That is a choice.
Yeah, here we go.
Yeah, honestly, cheers to them.
Cheers indeed. The Who's Tommy has set their dates.
Tommy doesn't know what brain is.
Tommy is coming this spring. Previews start March 8th with an official opening on March 28th.
Pinball Wizard Tommy. Yep. I know Tommy has a big following. Yeah.
So we'll see. I'm excited.
It's okay. So clearly this is a revival of the musical.
Yep.
And it's going to Broadway in what time did you say?
This spring, March 8th. Previews.
Okay.
So we're gonna have such a chock full itinerary. Oh, did you watch the trailer for Maestro? The Leonard Bernstein movie
with Bradley Cooper
and his directing.
Bradley Cooper starring his prosthetic nose.
That is a whole conversation. Yeah.
No, but was it good?
It took my breath away.
Okay, I'm excited.
Yep, I can't put it any other way. I was like gobsmacked. It was so beautiful. Extremely excited about that movie.
I'm very excited about it too. Our theater and its closeted homosexuals.
Yeah.
Is Bernstein? Is he more of a
Freddie Mercury?
Yeah. Is he bisexual or was he actually like just gay?
I don't honestly know. Based on the trailer and for what I've seen, it seems to me like he was bisexual.
Yeah.
Our Town is coming back to Broadway.
Really?
Yup.
When?
In the future. It will be produced and directed by Kenny Leon.
Oh.
And we'll have a diverse cast. Yeah. So this might be a very fresh and new and more diverse take of Our Town.
Did you come and see my production of Our Town?
I did, starring Reid Arthur.
Ding!
It was amazing. Loved it. But that's going to be for next fall.
Okay. That honestly makes a lot of sense. I've heard that Our Town is an extremely popular title in the post-COVID world.
Oh, that makes sense.
It was, I think, one of the, like, we were amongst many who were producing Our Town across the country as we exited COVID. You know, quote unquote, exited.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Next, Kelly Clarkson show.
Oh, yes.
Have you heard about this?
The Broadway Kelly Clarkson show. Yes.
So they've moved to Rockefeller Center for recording.
Recording?
So they were in LA, and now their studio is in New York at Rockefeller Center. And they...
Oh, because she's developing a Broadway show.
Well, that is I think she has said that, but I know that that's to be true. But they basically, their plan is they've said it outright, is like, hey, we want to bring more Broadway people on. We want to have more Broadway featured on our show. I think she already had the cast of Merrily on. And
well, is it because of the strike? Is it because it's easier to get Broadway people right now?
Oh, shit.
Do you think that's why?
Oh.
Well, I
don't. No. It's not because of the strike. It's because they love Broadway. It's not out of convenience. And I don't know. Maybe.
Well, what I do know is that Kelly had already moved to New York before the strike went on. So this is probably not.
Do you have like an app that tracks Kelly Clarkson's movements?
I
like the Santa app, on Christmas Eve.
No. I listened to a podcast called Las Culturistas, which is hosted by Matt Rogers and Bowen Yang of SNL. And love Bowen. Matt Rogers is like the biggest Kelly Clarkson stan in the world, so I always know what's going on with Kelly Clarkson because he informs me.
Gotcha. So
it's and she was on their show recently, so I listened to that.
Right. Well, I'm excited. Anytime we can get more Broadway exposure, especially like free performances.
Yeah.
For example, Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade around the corner.
The Tony Awards, right?
All that.
But because back in the day, you had Rosie O'Donnell, and of course,
I watched so many of those Rosie performances. I loved it.
Yeah, and
Lion King. That was the first time I think I saw Lion King.
Jay Leno always had a bunch of people on.
Yeah. Lempicka finally announced their dates.
Okay.
They had this big tease like on Friday, like
the big tease.
Yeah, and then previews begin March 19th. Official opening April 14th, right before my birthday. So you never know.
So Stefan, this is not about Lempicka, but this is circling back to a item that you had on our Broadway news earlier. It is official. Sutton Foster and Aaron Tveit.
Oh, that is official. Yes, we can get to that too. We might as well.
Stefan, the internet is not happy.
That officially broke, I think, yesterday.
I think so.
Or today, even though we knew last week.
We knew because we are on the cutting
Broadway
edge.
Insiders. And that I haven't read. Tell me, what is the internet saying? I haven't really gotten too deep into theater talk.
Twitter, being Twitter, of course, loves to ridicule any and all themes.
Yeah, of course.
So they really just think that Sutton Foster and Aaron Tveit are not the right choices for this production.
Well, they can eat shit. That is my take on it. I explained in last week's episode. Yes, I know Aaron Tveit is a tenor, and he's gonna probably do some goofy opt-up at some point, and people are gonna clutch their pearls because you're fucking with Sondheim or whatever. I think it's gonna be great. Sutton can bring it, and so can Aaron Tveit. I think it's gonna be fantastic.
You know what I hope?
Tell me.
I hope she has a little tap in this show.
A little tapping. She is a legitimate. Are you talking about tap dancing?
Yes.
She is a real triple threat.
Yeah.
Like old school triple threat.
Baby, that girl
She's
can
amazing.
Dance.
Anything goes. Anything goes with her is on Broadway HD.
Yeah.
I don't know that show very well, so that would be something we can watch together.
That was one of the first bootlegs I ever watched.
Really?
Yeah.
You naughty boy.
I know.
So, okay, back to Lempicka. So that has been officially announced. What I found interesting as I was kind of doing a little digging on Lempicka is that this has been in development for a long time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and with Shoshana Bean was tied to it, as well as some other big stars. But they really worked this out. Like they took their time.
Okay.
So it has had a bunch of different previews or out of town previews, and then went back to the workshop, and now they're finally bringing it. I have very high hopes for this. I think it's going to end up being really, really good.
What is this show about?
She's a Polish artist that moves to Paris, and then she falls in love with a lady prostitute. And so there's going to be some lady love. And have you listened? You still probably haven't listened to that song yet.
We listened to it in the car.
Oh, we did. Okay, on the way back from Hair.
Yes. Hair.
Anyway, so I'm very excited. I think it's going to be fantastic. All right, The Notebook announces its final casting. It's transferring from Chicago. We knew that already, but the official cast. These are all Allie and Noah. So they have Allie and Noah will be played,
older Allie.
So there's younger, middle, and older.
Oh, very Fiona.
Yeah, but different too. All right, this will include Jordan Tyson as younger Allie.
Okay.
Joy Woods as middle Allie.
Okay.
And Tony Award winner Maryann Plunkeet as older Allie.
Oh, what has Maryann done?
What's
she win her Tony for?
Couldn't tell you. Katia if she was here, she could tell us.
Yeah, boy, would she.
John Cardoza as younger Noah, Ryan Vasquez as middle Noah, and Dorian Harewood as older Noah.
Good for them.
Yeah, I don't really know anybody there except for Joy Woods, who has had one or two stints as Audrey in Little Shop of Horrors, and then she was also in Six, and to much acclaim. For those that care, that has been officially cast, and ta-da.
For those who care.
Yeah.
Love The Notebook.
Okay, yeah. I'm hearing nothing but good things about this production, both the music and the high drama of it. I would love to go see a Notebook musical and cry my eyes out.
Okay. I've never seen the movie.
Neither have I.
Oh, whoa.
I know. I've just heard that it's like just
it's a tearjerker.
Yeah.
Well, and I think it's like a
Ugly
classic movie of like miscommunication. I think he writes a letter to her that would explain everything, but it gets lost in the mail.
Oh no.
I know.
Let's watch it and cry together.
Yep.
All right. Hold me, Reid.
What about are we gonna talk about Wicked 40th?
We could.
Okay, because the biggest pressing Broadway news ever right now,
it's everywhere,
is the pictures. It's a photo, and it's a great staged photo of Adina and Kristen
you're right.
in the bathtubs that are colored their respective roles.
The pink bubbles.
And the green bubbles.
That photo is so fucking hot. Oh my God. It combines like two of my favorite people, like sex and Broadway.
Right. Just a little, like tasteful cleavage.
Like, right? I don't care how much that was touched up with airbrush. Yes, I don't care. That photo is just like.
So then they're on the red carpet, right? And they're both in these horrendous outfits. Like Adina is in like a trench coat, basically a pajama trench coat, plaid. And it's very just like, it's such a choice.
Yes, I think I saw that.
Kristen Chenoweth is in like a little tiny skirt, but it's like very froofy.
Of course.
With these ridiculous, huge shoes as well. And she looks ridiculous, but amazing. They both look ridiculous but amazing. And I saw a tweet that said, "You both look so osmopolitan."
Osmopolitan.
And I see what they did. That made me laugh.
I see what they did there.
Well, and then there was a picture, and I couldn't tell if it was Shoshana Bean or Lindsay. Yeah. And from one picture, I was like, it looks like Lindsay, and one picture, it looks like Shoshana, just on the red carpet.
Oh, okay.
Or at the green carpet.
Dressed up as Linda or as Alphaba?
Just in like a little dress.
Okay, gotcha.
A little green dress.
I know they brought back some former famous Alphabas.
Yeah, totally. That's why. So I was like, is it Shoshana or is it Lindsay?
Maybe it's both.
Maybe they came wearing matching dresses.
Adorbs.
I know.
Yep. Congratulations.
Tell us in the comments.
Our show this week, Reid's choice.
I already told you earlier that I don't know if I'm going to make it through this recording without crying at least once.
I think this is a fine choice. I was so excited when you picked it. So tell us, why did you pick Chorus Line?
Chorus Line, it's like It's my Tick Tick Boom. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Like Tick Tick Boom, all about performers, all about musicals, all about sort of, why we do what we do and why we love it, right?
Mhm.
Chorus Line is that. It's a whole show about auditioning and the pain and the insecurities
Yes.
and the embarrassment of having to audition and the
humiliation.
Yes, it is such a vulnerable piece of work, and there is nothing that pains me more in my life than knowing how bad someone wants something that there's only a few slots for and not getting it.
Yeah.
I cannot tell you how many episodes of RuPaul's Drag Race I have cried through because of someone that I just know wants it so badly, wants it more than the others, but just maybe that wasn't their week, or they may not be as strong as a performer, or whatever reason they ended up getting sent home.
Yeah.
And this show is that. It's it is torture, but it's so good.
It's juicy.
It's pain.
Juicy torture. Yeah,
and
it
I
is.
love pain.
It's like going to
It's my Cancer moon.
Doctor and getting a physical and just having to strip down naked in front of somebody, just being like treated like this piece of meat, even though I know, but like it's just it's so raw and intense. I love it.
Some of the best damn music in a Broadway score ever.
It's hard to find a real flaw in this original recording.
It is so unbelievably good.
And they did change some things for the movie. We're going to talk about. We're going to get into some of that. You're going to have to carry some of the load. I rewatched the movie this week, but it's not like I've watched it a million times. I probably watched it like 5 times.
Totally.
And that was my actual first experience with it, I think, was the movie. And then I looked it up. And then,
Have you seen Chorus Line live?
Mm-mm.
Okay, because I've never seen it live.
Oh, I would love to.
I haven't seen a bootleg of the revival either. Did you find a bootleg?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
it was just on. I think I just found it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was straight up like dude in the audience with a camera. Yeah. Like, yeah,
exactly. In the olden days, because it was like 2006.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about what Chorus Line was to culture, to Broadway when it debuted.
Yeah. So first of all, Chorus Line is a musical about how many dancers? Like 20 or such dancers, all auditioning for the chorus line of a upcoming Broadway musical. We don't even know what the show is. It doesn't tell us. And they're all auditioning to get a slot in the chorus, which is the group of dancers that make up the dance numbers in the background of a Broadway musical. So they're not auditioning for the leads in this show. They are Broadway dancers who are honestly the backbone, heartbeat, make it or break it part of the Broadway industry, right? And there's only a certain amount of roles. And Zach, the choreographer who is making all the decisions, is kind of doing an unorthodox audition style where he's like, you're all great dancers, so now I'm going to just start asking very personal questions. I want you to open up to me, and I'm going to make my decisions based on you and your personalities. And this musical was actually written from recordings that Michael Bennett, the director, did with real Broadway dancers, his own friends. Yeah. And they just like sat around and did like these recording sessions where he asked all about their childhoods, why they wanted to dance in the first place, sort of their hopes, dreams, inspirations, aspirations. And they made a musical out of those recordings.
Yeah. So when you listen to this musical, those are true stories. I mean, some of it is slightly changed for some of the characters. And that actually some of those people who told the stories in those interviews ended up
in the show. Yes. Did you watch Every Little Step?
Yeah, it's been a while though.
So
for the 2006 casting revival, and everything. Yeah.
They did a lovely documentary movie.
Wonderful documentary.
That is very meta because it's about
yes, exactly.
It's a documentary about the audition process of A Chorus Line, which is a show about the audition process.
There's layers of stress
yes
to it. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, it was really lovely.
Yeah. It's honestly like the perfect documentary in that way. Exactly. It's set up.
You guys should watch it and tell us what you think about it. It's on Amazon Prime as well as probably
highly recommended. So what year did this come out? Do you remember?
70 something. 75.
Like 75. And it ran all the way till 1990.
Yeah, it was such a successful show.
Massively successful. I think in 1983, I want to say, it took over the spot for the longest running show on Broadway.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And until
Cats
took it over, I think in 97 or something like that. Mm-hmm. It was the longest running show on Broadway history. And it's so unique in a couple different ways. First, there's no star.
No, it's not a star vehicle.
Yeah.
You are
truly an ensemble.
It is so crazy that this show took off the way that it did.
Right. This show would not exist. If somebody came to a producer with an idea for this show, they'd get laughed out of the room these days because it's all about the star.
Yeah.
It seems like these days.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
That's the beauty of it. That's the beauty.
Well, Michael Bennett, who was the director, kind of conceiver of the show, such a huge sort of power
figure.
Yes, in the Broadway world. Mm-hmm. He started off as a dancer, always knew he wanted to do choreography, openly gay man. This has this is a watershed moment too, I think, for representation
100%
on stage as well.
Yeah, I was going to get to that.
It's crazy because anyone who knows Broadway knows that it is primarily composed up of homosexuals. So it is amazing that Michael Bennett got to tell their stories in such a honest and real way for once, instead of just being sort of the backbone that makes up the theater, finally getting to tell their stories.
Right.
For
LGBTQ community, but also culturally, minority. So there's Puerto Rican dancers telling their story as Puerto Ricans, not just happen to be cast as that, but no, these are Puerto Rican characters being played by Puerto Ricans. And I mean, the beauty
Connie is Chinese American.
Yes, and Connie.
We've got Jewish people. We've got
very not happen to be Jewish, but
no, that's an important
that's part
aspect.
Of the character. That's exactly. It's an important part of the character. He embraces that in the portion where they talk about their names and what are their stage names and how he essentially, doesn't use his very Jewish name or whatever. And then the African American, was it Richie? I'm black.
Shit, Richie.
Yeah. Shit, give me the ball. Give me the ball. Give me the ball.
Shit, Richie.
Yeah. So. Yeah, and A Chorus Line, when it came to Broadway was struggling.
Yeah. And
it is, and the more I read about it, the more it was given a lot of credit for a revival, an actual revival of Broadway. It was cranking along, but then New York City was promoting Broadway, and A Chorus Line was a big part of that, which is crazy.
Yeah. The 70s were a hard time for Broadway, I think, and for the whole sort of theater region of that area. I don't know a whole lot about New York history, but there's a chapter in it in some big Broadway book that I read, and I was like, oh, the 70s.
Yeah,
you're right.
Yeah, think about great 70s musicals. Not a ton. So it really was a phenomenon at the time. So it boosted Broadway.
Yeah.
Huge show, and frankly, it's a little surprising that there haven't been more revivals of it.
Yeah,
again,
it is a incredibly hard show to cast because you need people who are first and foremost dancers, and then you need to find people who can sing on top of that, right? And I don't know about you, but in recordings of this, sometimes they're not the best singers.
Right.
There are
oh man, the Maggie. No, who has the big at the ballet? That is fucking hard.
Yes.
Because it's a mixed belt. It's not, oh man. And every little thing.
Every little step.
That is
has
so
a montage
stressful.
of everyone
It's so
trying
stressful.
to hit that note.
And you're like, oh my God, these are Broadway singers and they literally can't hit that note in that placement. That's the hard part because you can do it in falsetto, whatever. But what that role demands is like this mixed belt, and it's so painful in that. I mean, they probably dramatize it a little bit, but like very interesting. Anyway, but yes. So the dancing, can we talk about that just before we get into the tracks real quick? Into it. I came to this show, again, the movie first, and it blew my goddamn mind.
When did you see it first?
The dancing. I was probably 12 or something.
Oh, really?
13 maybe, I don't know. And I remember watching, I just never really thought about dancing until I saw this, really, you know, in terms of, you know, how it fit onto Broadway or whatever. I hadn't really seen that many shows probably at that point.
Well, Rent, it's not even a dance show.
Well, Rent, this was, before Rent, I listened to this. And, you know, but I listened to like Phantom
also not really a dance show.
They're not, and it's not, I mean, like, yeah, there's dancing, but like this is it's a dance musical about dancing.
And one of the things I love to do the most is the dancing part of musicals. So one of my favorite shows that I ever did, was one that I was not even a lead character for. I was in the chorus of Annie. I had so much fun doing the show because there were so many dance numbers and you get to be part of the ensemble and you just get to like work your ass off and be, again, sort of the backbone of the whole show. If you're not there filling the space, making the dancing look incredible, the show does not work.
Yep, it brings
Even my favorite thing to do at Disney, not the meet and greets, and I loved getting to do that. I loved to, you know, talk to guests and do the improv-y kind of themes, but was doing the parades and the dancing.
Let's get back to that for just a second. For people who don't know, Reid worked at Disney World.
Yes.
And you played the parts of or go ahead.
I was good friends with Peter Pan and Mad Hatter. Yes.
As a NDA former cast member.
I don't work for them anymore, but we keep the magical life, Stefan.
Okay. The Mad Hatter.
And Peter Pan.
Yeah. That makes my heart so happy. I forgot about that.
I know. So yeah.
But no, I completely relate to that. Because freshman year I did How to Succeed in Business without really trying. I was just a freshman, goofy chorus member. But literally the best moment I ever had in my life on stage was doing Brotherhood of Men with a bunch of guys doing the can and like full on showstopper.
Yeah.
You know, and then the next year was Fiddler on the Roof, and there was some dope dancing.
Yeah,
and, you know, to life, you know. But yeah, when you're, and I mentioned this in an earlier episode, sometimes when you're the lead, you don't actually get to do those cool numbers.
No, and then you feel kind of left
out.
You're like,
left out. Yeah,
I want to be in this.
Anyway, so.
Like for Guys and Dolls, you missed out on the crap ballet.
Yep. Nope, I was in the pipe, clutching my groin.
That's right.
See the episode about Guys and Dolls if you want to know what that reference is about. Anyway,
truly.
No, it's true. So, but yeah, this dance is achingly beautiful, even though it's like some might call it dated because it is very 70s, like Flashdance.
Or in the movie, it's very 80s Flashdance.
Yeah,
very Footloose. There are so many moments in the movie, especially where I'm like, oh, this is.
But yeah, you watch any of these recordings and you watch the dance, you cannot come away from that without just being like, holy shit, these people are. So one more thing about the dancing I want to talk about before we get into the tracks. What I find fascinating about this show is the level of dancing.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm watching and they all look the same to me.
Yeah.
They all look like they're doing everything perfectly. And of course, they're like, no, you're out. Yeah, you're
like, how do...
And you're like, okay.
Why?
And what I would love to know from like a real dancer is like, are they just arbitrarily doing that? Or are those actors really purposely messing up steps?
Yeah.
Subtly.
Well, no. Oh, I'm so glad that you brought this up because this looks like such a complicated show. Because to teach it, you need all of those sort of 5, 6, 7, 8s. You need left, right, hand up, like, right? But that's part of the show. those sort of little things that you use in rehearsal to learn the dances that you don't say the 5, 6, 7, 8s. You don't say left, right, up, down, move the arm up and down, right?
Yeah, you don't see that.
That stuff is not said, but in this musical, they
see it.
Yes, so I can only imagine that learning these parts in this show is actually so intricate and so complicated.
Right. I just wonder what a dancer would really say about it.
Yeah, that's
somebody
a good
who
point.
really gets that dancing. And then you get Cassie.
Yes.
And Zach is like, you're too good.
Yes. This isn't a solo.
This isn't Vegas, you know, exactly. Or whatever. And you're like, Cassie. You're watching and you're like,
Cassie.
What? Okay.
This is going to be a lot of learning about Reid in this episode.
God, I hope I get it.
I hope I get it.
Track 1. And so, track 1.
I hope I get it.
It's the whole group. It's everybody. So you have more cast members. Obviously, they're trying to whittle down. And you've got
Larry.
Larry is basically taking the whole, all these people auditioning through the steps.
Mm-hmm. He's not the choreographer. He's the choreographer's assistant.
Mm-hmm, Larry. And basically whittling down, you know, and teaching the steps. No, they already know the steps. And he's running them through the paces, right?
Yeah. Or if I think they learn it there, and they learn it very fast. Dancers have to just learn to be able to pick up all sorts of choreography really quickly. And if you've never been to a professional audition, you get a number. You literally have a number pinned to your dance leotard. Because again, this is the 70s and the movie was the 80s. So everyone is in.
Oh my God.
Everyone is in.
Dude.
Like the skimpiest,
again,
littlest.
I was like 12, 13 when I watched this.
Stefan, I watched this in the middle of the night while my dad and brothers were off on a Boy Scout trip, and my mom.
You were on your own trip.
I was on my own trip. Because I was in a show currently, and so I couldn't go to Boy Scout camp because I was rehearsing. And this was right as I was like an older teenager. I was trying to get into like more musicals, but I knew that a bunch of them were like ones that my parents would not. At that time, I have to preface, because my mom was like, I'm sorry for not letting you watch West Side Story. I was like, it's okay, Mom, we're fine.
I got this.
But I literally waited for my mom to go to bed, and I turned on the TV and I rented a chorus line off of, I don't know, YouTube or whatever it was, and watched it in the middle of the night, knowing that my parents would not want me to watch it because of how skimpy the outfits were.
Oh my God, yeah.
That's what I knew. Little did I know that there was going to be like all this like.
This is old school Broadway art and theater, like tight bodies.
This is like, if you've seen that video of John Travolta and Jamie Lee Curtis in whatever movie it is, but they're like thrusting their hips and their like little workout gear, Zumba.
This was not a period of body positivity. No. There is not the shred of a sag on any of these characters. Not a fucking shred. Yeah. These people were starving themselves, probably.
Well, there are jokes about it in the movie too. There are some really like,
I've been on my diet.
I would give up my diet. Yeah. And you're like,
but there's a whole lot more to say about it than that, because dancing is fucked.
Yeah.
Like the dance world is fucked that way.
I was going to say, the dance world is ripe with like very,
eating disorders.
Yes.
And,
very hard stuff. And the life of a dancer, and this show gets into it, the life of a dancer is short because your body cannot keep up with it forever, you know, into your older age. So it's that's what makes it so sad. I Hope I Get It is the number that if you do not know this show, you know this moment. This is like the iconic, God, I hope I get it. I hope I get it. How many people does he need?
How many boys, how many? Yeah.
Yes. And then it goes into I really need this job. Please, God, I need this job. Right. Yeah.
They all, or not everybody, but a number of the characters get their own little asides.
Yes.
Right. And I love the part where, man, I really blew it, or I really blew it. Like, it's like this internal monologue essentially as these characters
of the entire group, because that's what everyone is thinking. God, I need this job.
Yes.
I have to get it.
The desperation.
Yes, of all of them. And that's what makes it tragic for the cuts, right? He's being like, you gone. Number 22, you stay. Number 83, you stay.
Brutal.
Yes, there's no like, hey, better luck next time.
Yeah. So the movie is much maligned.
Yeah.
We'll get into more of that in a little bit.
People do not love the movie.
People do not love the movie as a adaptation or whatever. And I think it was Richard Attenborough of
Santa Claus
and Jurassic Park
yes.
directed it. He directed it, and somebody in an interview who was either in the original cast or in the movie or whatever said that it was about a bunch of young dancers trying to make it.
Yeah, I read that. And
this person was like, well, no wonder the movie fucking sucked, because he didn't understand the show.
The show is not about.
I mean, there are some young dancers, but primarily they're veteran dancers.
Yeah.
Desperate.
Yeah, for the work, knowing that
some of them have worked before. Yeah, a number of them have like had other work, but clearly haven't had steady work.
Some of them are aging out.
So the desperation in this number is palpable.
Yeah. At the very end of this number, they all grab their headshots, which is what you need at an audition. That's what you give the casting director so that they can have sort of, your face and make notes on it and all that sorts of stuff. And they get into the line with their little headshot over their face, right? And then Paul, who we'll get into later, Paul has a little spot at the end, right? The whole, who am I anyway? Am I my resume? And he's very like, you already can tell that he's reserved. He doesn't want to share a whole lot about himself. He's very
shy.
He loves to dance. And he says, I need this job. So that's why I'm here.
And it's an interesting, like his little aside is a change in tone of the whole song.
Yeah, because it's like bum, 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 bum.
And then you get this little ballad almost, this plead.
I need this job.
So, yeah.
Dear God, I need this show. So we learned then that Zach has whittled it down to about, oh gosh, how many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 17. 17 dancers. Everyone else has been sent home.
Everyone else is at home. And then they get in their line. And when this is staged, everybody's lined up on stage.
In no particular order.
Black.
Yeah.
Behind them.
Yeah, no, the set is literally just an empty black stage.
That's it.
And then the only thing is the white line.
Yeah.
Which marks the proscenium, but which is also used as, of course, a metaphor for the chorus and the lineup of people.
So they're there, and we get our first person. Zach starts by asking people to come forward and state their name, where they're from, and their age. You get the characters kind of coming out, and some with various levels of sass.
Yeah.
Or their actual name and their stage name.
Yeah.
So you get a little bit of story about each of them, like the the prominent Jewish characters, saying my God-given name, or I can't remember how he puts it, is, and he says this very long ethnic, Jewish name, and then he shortens it up for his like stage name. And then then you've got other characters who straight up change their like nationality. Like Paul is
Puerto Rican,
but he goes by an Italian name.
Yeah, and they're like, wait, what?
Yeah,
it's like, well,
and
people always said that I didn't look Puerto Rican.
So I figured Italian was in right now or something like that. I can't remember. Anyway, so we get to our first number. I don't remember how we get to Mike. I can't remember if Zach is like now starting to like try and get things out of people.
Yeah, I think the broad question he asks is like, how did you first get into dance?
Right.
Why did you first want to dance? Right. And we get the first sort of like number, and it's called I Can Do That. And Mike is a very energetic male dancer.
Fantastic.
This is such a great
number.
Song. Yeah. It's such a show-off number.
Yes.
It's very, I don't want to show off no more.
Yeah.
Do you know that song?
I
Chaperone.
Don't. Oh, see, I I haven't seen that. So.
Oh, sorry. Great Sutton Foster number.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But basically, this whole number is him like, my sister was having dance lessons, and one day she decided she didn't want to go. So I went for her, and
that was it.
I could do everything that my sister could do.
Yep. I stuffed my shoes with extra socks.
Ran 7 blocks in nothing flat. Hell,
So,
I could do that.
I probably quote this song and sing this song at least once a week.
I think I do too.
Like, hey, can you take out the garbage?
That I can do.
I could do that. I mean, it's just fucking catchy, and it has some beautiful dance. Even in the movie, it's a great number in the movie.
Yeah. He gets to do a lot of tumbling, twirling, splits, dips.
That I can do. I could do that. Anyway, not a whole lot.
We
say about it, but it.
And we don't learn a lot about Mike. That's what is interesting about the show. Is some characters we learn a lot about them, and some characters like Mike, this is his cute little number. He's, as far as we know, straight,
fairly superficial. Yeah,
just loves to dance. He's very that kid that
this kid's an entertainer.
Hyper, yeah, energetic, incredible.
All right, and we get to at the ballet.
Yes. And this starts with Zach interviewing Sheila.
Yes.
And Sheila, I don't know, might be my favorite character other than Paul.
Okay.
Now Sheila's the aging dancer.
Aging.
Yeah, quote unquote.
30.
yeah.
I think she's 30.
Yeah, totally, right. Your mileage may vary on that.
She's seasoned. She's worked.
Yeah, and she's done shows with Zach, so they have sort of a little a repartee.
She actually, she did a show back when Zach was actually dancing. And she kind of jabs at him a little bit.
You were a terrible dancer.
Yeah, that's why I became a choreographer.
But she's very jaded, right? And so she does not necessarily want to play by his rules. And so he's trying to get information out of her, and she's giving a very rehearsed, very sort of put on personality. And he's like, don't perform, Sheila. Just be you.
Yeah.
And she's like, what
down.
Do you want from me?
Let her hair down. Talk. Really talk.
And so she finally, she's like, he gets a little bit out of her about her childhood, right? Finds out she had a pretty bad childhood. Her dad was sort of, bad.
Philanderer.
Well, and maybe I think
abusive.
I think it's sort of tones of abuse to her mother and maybe to her as well. And so she ends up talking about how she started dance and how that was her escape from this poor childhood, was going to dance class. And that's when I went to dance class. Up the steep and very narrow stairway to the voice like a metronome. Then we have BB, right? BB interjects as well. And it's like, I started dance to escape my bad childhood, where my mom, I hated my mom. She always said that I was different and that maybe one day I'd be beautiful, but I'm not right now.
Right.
And she loves dance in the ballet because everyone's beautiful at the ballet.
And every prince
has got to have its swan.
Right. And so, but she hated mom.
Yeah. I hated her.
Yeah. Yeah. Poor
Different
baby.
is nice, but it sure isn't pretty.
Pretty is what it's about.
Yeah, totally. Then it ends with Maggie.
And Maggie.
Oh.
The pretty one.
The pretty one. But she also, and this is horrible because I quote this part way too often. Probably this is my once a week quote. Is she has this really heartbreaking monologue in the middle of the song, because it's kind of like musical interlude, and she talks and she's like, I was born to help my parents' marriage, but when my father arrived at the hospital, he took one look at me and said, I thought this was supposed to help, but I guess it's not. Anyway, I had a fantastic fantasy life.
Reid, in what context are you quoting this? Please tell me.
Inappropriate context.
Is it a grocery store going down the aisle?
I was like, I had a fantastic fantasy life.
Do you have a Fred Meyer account awards number? And you're I have a fantastic childhood. A fantastic fantasy life. I listened to the Barbra Streisand one. Yeah. The version of this. So
which
Barbara,
is a great version.
Barbara recorded this for an album,
a very recent
handful years ago, 5 years ago at the most. I don't know. and she roped in Daisy Ridley
of Star Wars fame,
to be BB, and Maggie was sung by the goddess
Anne Hathaway
to be the
everything fame.
Of yes, amazing Anne Hathaway, Les Mis. And Barbara, of course, is Sheila, the tough girl from the streets, or what, you know. And I just find it hilarious. I cannot take myself away from Barbara. Like, she is Barbara,
and she's so
that. Like, even though, but they're all playing characters.
Right.
They're all playing characters in that recording. But it's like, that's Barbara.
But Barbara loved to do that in her albums. Did you ever listen to her original Broadway album?
Mm-mm.
She has a lot of spoken word bits. Like, the opening of that album is putting it together from Sunday in the Park with George. Yeah. And there are voices of men being like, but it's not commercial. She's like, who cares if it's not commercial? I want to do it. It's like,
I should listen to that.
You should. It's very funny.
She is a crack up because she's like, I can imagine the sessions, the recording sessions
in the mall, in her mall.
In her mall?
Do you not know about Barbra Streisand's basement mall?
No.
Underneath her mansion, she had built an entire mall complete with food court and her favorite stores and brands and things that she can just go down and look it up sometime.
No.
I swear to God.
Way. Okay. That's got to be in the show notes.
Yeah.
But I just can't imagine being in a recording session with Barbra fucking Streisand.
Yeah.
And directing her.
I know.
So YouTube has a making of
it's sort of like a
music
video making of.
Mm-hmm. And it's hilarious because those women are just starstruck. Yeah. It's Barbra Streisand, and she's sort of, I think she's basically directing them.
Yeah, I think so.
How do you produce Barbra Streisand and tell her, no, I really want it this way, Babs? And she just pulls out a gun and shoots you in the head.
Literally.
Just forget it.
My way or the highway, baby.
Anyway, hilarious, but I highly recommend it. Anyway,
great number.
At the Ballet is just such a gorgeous piece.
Gorgeous song.
Then we get to Sing.
What I couldn't do was
sing.
What I really wanted to was
sing.
All I couldn't do was
sing. Good work. We nailed that. That was good. That was good. So Sing, we've got Christine and Al, and they are a couple.
Yes. I think he's overbearing.
I know where you're coming from with this. Okay.
He's the protective boyfriend of this shy sort of.
He ends up speaking for her a lot because she's shy. Mm-hmm. And in the song, he's essentially finishing all of her sentences.
Yeah. The joke of the song is that she's a dancer who can't sing.
Right. What I really couldn't do was
sing.
Yeah. And so he's finishing all of her sentences.
And it's funny too because he's singing the notes where she's speaking the notes. Mm-hmm. And it's a very funny song cut from a movie, actually.
Yeah.
Which is a weird. I get it. The movie's a little more sexy than the show. I feel like the show leans into the silliness a little more, and the movie is sort of nonstop,
it's
glistening bodies.
Yeah, it is more high drama. It's true. They give you some more Cassie and stuff like that. But anyway, it's a good number. It's not a dance number though.
No,
I don't think there's any dancing in it.
No,
but
very funny comedy song.
Power. Yeah,
I was really perfect for the shower.
Yeah.
And in the documentary, the gal who they're interviewing the gal who ends up playing Christine, and she's like, I got a call back, and they were like, we're looking at you for we wanted to pull you for a few different roles, and we were thinking Christine. And she goes, wait,
the one who can't
sing? And then they cut to a clip of her singing beautifully at her audition, and then being like, oh, she's someone who can't sing.
Yeah, pretty sure she can sing.
Yeah, exactly.
For the part.
Very
funny. Part. All right, so we got 4 montages.
Hello 12.
Hello 13.
Hello love.
So montage part 1.
Also cut from the movie.
Oh, was it really?
Well, the majority of it. I think there's a little bit. They do the hello 12, hello 13, hello love. But it's not the same.
Yeah.
And they don't do the big flashing ending of the montage. So this is a brilliant breakdown. This kind of encapsulates everyone's puberty years.
That's right. Okay, yeah.
What they were saying is in the making of it, they were kind of going down the line one character at a time, and the audience was really bored because they were like, oh, we've got like 12 more people left. And so this was a really efficient way for them, for you to get to like hear bits and pieces of everyone's experience without having to go one by one. And it's everyone's horrible, pubescent.
I said, seeing daddy naked.
Yeah.
Mom and dad were doing it. Yeah. It's just like purposely these little lines to shock the audience.
Right. It's everyone's kind of, they're all sharing their first sexual encounters. And we get one of my favorite lines from, I think, well, what's the character? From Greg Gardner, a sassy Jewish gay man who divulges his first experience with a woman.
Don't you want to do anything else? Was that
yeah. I was like, we were making out in the car and I was feeling her boobs. And then she said, well, is there anything else you want to feel? And I said, no, not really. So gosh darn
anyway,
good.
So yeah, and that, but like the main kind of song is that hello 12, hello 13, hello love.
Yeah. And we also get
a little Connie.
Yeah, we get a little Connie.
4'10".
Yeah, 4'10", 4'10".
Yeah, never growing. That's kind of her thing.
Hanging from the, Connie, who's the Chinese American. She's like greener than green. So sweet.
19, right? Isn't she one of the super young ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, really. Yeah, one of the few young ones.
She's just like so sweet. Whereas there's some more sort of like edgier people in the, she's just very innocent and sweet.
Which I'm sure was actually probably the experience for a lot of people on Broadway.
When am I gonna grow tits?
Yeah, that's right. That's a recurring. You've got
nothing to hold them up. This is the best part of the show, hands down. Period. Point blank. And I have to apologize. Sorry, Mom. I know you listen to this podcast, but this is such a great and honest sort of like everyone's growing up experience, and it rolls into weird little like areas. At one point, it slows down really, and it's everyone singing about their mothers. So, hi, Mom.
Okay, so mother.
It's just a sweet part where all of them are singing about their sort of, experiences with their mom and their love for their mom. And you have the great line, your father went through life with an open fly, which is sung very monotone by someone.
Yeah, I don't know who sings that line, but
I think it's the sassy Jewish gay man.
Really?
I don't know.
I thought it was a woman.
Who can say?
I couldn't tell you. All right, so we got the mother montage sung by Diana going to the Performing Arts High School and acting.
Mm-hmm. And if you've ever been to any sort of acting class, it's not far from the truth.
They're so right. Oh, it's a joke.
All of the, so it starts and they're like, all right, we're doing an acting exercise. You're on a bobsled and it's cold. Go. And so all of the kids in the class are like,
I can feel it.
Yeah, getting like so into it. And Morales is sitting there.
What do you feel, Morales?
And I felt nothing. I felt nothing. And he said nothing would get a girl transferred. Yeah, it's great.
And so there's this, so she's got this acting teacher who basically is like, you're not cutting it. This isn't gonna work. Like, you're not good enough. You might have to transfer
to Girls High.
Jesus Christ.
Went to church praying Santa Maria. Yeah, so great.
Send me guidance. Yeah, and it's such a God, I love this song.
This song is so good. So basically, right, Morales, she feels very, everyone is being ridiculous and they're bullying her basically.
Yeah. And all the teacher allows it.
Yes.
Which really makes her burn.
The kids called me nothing. They called me nothing. And harp allowed it, which really makes me burn.
Shitty teacher.
Yeah. So then at the end of the song.
And I dug right down to the bottom of my soul
to see how an ice cream felt.
Yeah.
That line is so good. And I tried to melt. Later.
Something tells her that this class is nothing.
Yes, she goes to church. She prays to Santa Maria.
Yes, and she realizes
down to the bottom of her soul.
This is what...
And a voice tells her.
It said. Yeah. This class is nothing. This man is nothing.
Go find the thing.
Go find a better class.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't like that it is part of the montage. I think that maybe
I know.
it is.
I know. It doesn't. Yeah, right. It is clearly its own number.
Yeah. It is a complete beginning, middle, and end.
Mm-hmm.
And she tells this story so well. It is such a juicy acting song, too.
Yeah. Yeah. You could argue that Morales is the biggest part.
Yeah. Well, because she has the power ballad at the end, too.
Yeah. Yeah. For What I Did for Love. She really has the notes.
Yeah, she really kills it. And the number is so fun. It is really a great one.
Yeah. Okay.
Give me ball, give me ball, give me ball. Yeah. I was gonna scholarship to college. Well, I don't know.
Richie.
Again.
A scholarship to college.
Picture me some kindergarten teacher.
Yeah, he's gonna be a kindergarten teacher.
We meet Richie, and like I said, he's the only Black character in the original Broadway production. In the revival, they cast Sheila as a Black woman, which is a little loaded, right? Like, she's the jaded,
tough
sort
chick.
of sassy Black lady stereotype that was popular at that time. So that's like, yay, we have more representation, but
also
not perfect.
Yeah.
And nothing was in 2006.
Nothing ever will be.
Yeah, true.
But, yeah. So Richie sung fine.
Totally.
It's a character number.
Yeah.
But not memorable.
Yeah.
In my
Basically
eyes.
sings how he had, played basketball in high school, got a scholarship to college, but really ended up loving dance and switching to dance. And I was scared. Shit, Richie. Shit, Richie.
Yeah, and now in the movie,
yes,
it's a hell of a number, dance number.
Yes,
for Richie.
Instead of everyone sharing, instead of the little sung parts of everyone sharing their first sexual experiences, and there is a little bit of that in the movie, he sings the whole song, which is called Surprise, Surprise.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And it's basically about his first sexual encounter and how he was scared and he closed his eyes. And this is the most Flashdance part of the movie.
Agreed.
This is so Footloose. Yep. It has this long dance interpretive interlude. Sure. Yeah.
All right, let's move out of these montages. What do you say? To a fucking banger.
This might be the best song in the show. God, there are so many good songs in this.
So the real name of this song is Tits and Ass.
Yeah, totally.
But they couldn't do it. But Dance 10 looks.
Well, do you know why they couldn't do it?
I can't remember. It was in the show.
Yes,
it was
in the documentary. They're saying that the audience wasn't laughing in the song, which the whole song is. The chorus goes, tits and ass, get yourself a fancy pair.
Tighten up that derriere or whatever.
It's about this dancer who swiped her dance card. For dancing, she got a great score, 10, but for her looks, she got a really low 3. So she goes to the plastic surgeon and she buys a pair and she starts booking jobs.
Yeah.
And it's a very cheeky, funny number, but they weren't getting laughs. Yeah. And then they realized, because they had titled the number Tits and Ass.
They buried
in the program.
The punchline.
Yeah, so they're like, okay, well, let's change the name of the song to Dance 10 Looks 3.
So when you get to the actual tits and ass, it's a surprise. And you're like, this is dirty.
Dance 10 Looks 3, and I'm still on unemployment. Dancing for my own enjoyment. That ain't it, kid. That ain't it, kid.
Yeah, you got to have a good Val to perform this number because it's kind of in a part that really needs some energy.
Yeah.
Honestly, a goddamn brilliant song.
Yes.
Where on earth?
And again, this is
somebody's story.
Yes, this is pulled right out of their recordings. In the documentary, they literally play the snippet from the dancer who originally was sharing the story, and then they play the song, and you're like, this is so funny. This is someone's this is somebody's story. The real lived experience, and it's a goddamn great number.
Yeah. Granted, dated now in a way. I mean, because there's so many more curves on Broadway and
Yes.
generally in theater than there used to be.
Yes.
Because, thank God. But
it
wasn't always that way.
Yeah,
no, it wasn't
totally.
That way. Yeah. What a banger.
Yeah, really great song.
Now we get to Cassie.
Yeah,
we haven't even really talked about Cassie yet.
Cassie in the movie is interweaved throughout, but I think she sort of shows up. Does she? I haven't seen the live version.
Cassie in the show, in the Broadway version, is not like
a huge part.
Huge character. I mean, you really don't get to Cassie until this number.
So Cassie's an important character.
In Cassie the movie, go ahead.
Is a down on her luck solo performer. So apparently she's such a good dancer that she used to book solo performances. She used to be the dance soloist in shows. Romantically connected to Zach.
Right. They have history.
So she comes crawling into his audition for the chorus. Remember, this is not for leading soloists. This is an audition for the chorus where you have to blend in with everyone else. And she comes crawling in and she's basically, humiliated that she's there.
Is she, though? Is she humiliated?
I think she is.
I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that.
Do you think that she's there to rekindle? Like, do you think she's there on purpose?
No. I think she's there facing reality and accepting it.
So then maybe she is moved through that humiliation.
Yes. I think so. From what
I think the embarrassment is that, the sad part is that she used to be a big deal.
Yeah.
And now she doesn't think she is anymore and she can't book the themes.
I guess in the true word of humiliation, in that she has humbled herself.
Yes.
To come and
the work.
Audition. She needs the work.
I need this.
She hasn't worked in a year.
Mm-hmm.
She moved to LA. She did these other things, which I know they get to in the movie. I don't know if they get to all of that in the stage version.
And Zach immediately shuts it down. He's like, "You are too good for the chorus. Get out of here." And she's like, "Please give me a chance.
Let me dance for you."
Yes. Yeah. So he gets mad. He asks everyone to leave the stage. They have a little reconnection moment, and it's the number, The Music in the Mirror. She's played by Donna McKechnie, who was an incredible dancer in the 70s, 80s on Broadway. She was a Fosse girl. She was a Michael Bennett girl. She was the it dance girl on Broadway.
So, yes, in the movie, they have a different song. So it's not The Music in the Mirror. It's Let Me Dance for You.
Yeah.
And it's a big, goddamn. I mean, and leading up to this, there are flashbacks.
Yeah.
With Michael Douglas.
I was going to say, we haven't even mentioned that Zach in the movie.
We've been saving this. We've been saving that.
Michael Douglas plays Zach in the movie of A Chorus Line, and it is so funny.
He is such a fucking dick.
Yeah, and he's a hard ass. He's kind of scary. Like, he's often in the shadows. Like, you can't really see him. He's just a light in the dark auditorium. And Larry is played by Terrence Mann. Do you know Terrence Mann?
That's who plays. I thought he looked familiar.
The original Broadway.
Because he's in the original cast of Chorus Line.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Well, he's also the original Inspector Javert on Broadway.
Right. No, Terrence Mann, and he originated the role of Beast
in
on Broadway.
The Beast.
Yes.
And he was in the revival of Pippin as Charlemagne.
Yes, but back to Zach being a fucking dick, please. Yeah, horrible. And he's such a dick in the movie. In the show, in the stage version, less so. I mean, like they create. So in the movie, they create much more backstory, much more. They do flashbacks. They do all.
It's a little more hinted at in the play. Yeah. So this is. I don't like the number in the movie. I think the song that they replaced it with is not as good as The Music in the Mirror.
But it was written by the original.
Yes, Marvin Hamlisch, which we haven't mentioned, also wrote the music for this. And Marvin Hamlisch is like known for a bunch of really weird, good songs.
Marvin, wrote the music for the movie song, which I think is fine. The Let Me Dance for You song is fine.
Yeah.
But The Music in the Mirror is a bop.
Yeah,
like, I really prefer that.
Play me the music. Give me a chance to come through.
And All I am.
But
Yeah.
what needed was the music and the mirror and the chance to dance.
Why would you? Anyway.
Yeah, no, it's a perfect song.
And I love this number because it has a wonderful dance break.
Yep.
Cassie just lights it up.
Yep.
And you're like, oh wow, she is excellent. Like you could tell.
Well, and I love too, right? Again, this is sort of back to the Richard Attenborough quote, which is that you have the Connie character who represents the Connie, and I think there's a guy character who's really young.
There's another 19-year-old,
Mark Anthony. Oh yes, he has the line about thinking he had gonorrhea, or he has gonorrhea, but
milky discharge. Having the
he
wet
goes
dream
to the priest, and he's like, ah, and the priest is like,
buddy,
it's just gonorrhea. You're fine.
It's okay. You don't have gonorrhea.
Oh yeah, so funny. But then you have Cassie, right? Who represents the like, this might be her last chance to work. This might be her last chance to dance. And it's complicated, but she's really talented. And does she belong in the chorus?
Right. And Zach is just incensed.
Yeah.
Because she's a star. Like Zach, they have such a weird relationship.
Well,
like,
and then
Zach,
one of my favorite lines is he's like, you're too special for the chorus, Cassie. And Cassie throws it right back. Sheila's too special for the chorus. Paul's too special for the chorus. They're all special and unique in their own way, because sort of the themes of this show is, do you fall into uniformity of the chorus? Are you unique and stand out?
Great song. I do like the way they do it in the movie. They play up their relationship in the movie.
Good. It works for the movie.
Fine, whatever.
It's hard to do a movie version of Coruscant, just honestly, because it takes place in one location.
Yeah.
And it works for a play because you're like,
they had Michael Douglas.
I know.
They needed to make him do more things.
Yeah. They really,
so like, whatever. Okay.
It was strange.
All right. So
strange
now the number that truly everybody knows.
Bum 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 one.
Yeah. So one is the number. So basically, while Cassie is doing music in the mirror, the rest of the cast the auditioners are learning one.
Yeah. Which is a in-universe song for the Broadway musical that they are auditioning for. We still don't know what the show is, but this is one of the songs in the show,
so to speak.
Yes. But it encapsulates the themes of the movie and the musical.
Singular. Okay, explain that to me, because I don't.
Okay, so think about it. They're a group of people, the chorus, singing about one singular sensation and how amazing this one person is. And what do they have to do to get into this show, to get this job, is they have to be excellent and be unique, share their own unique life stories. The chorus, where like Cassie is being ridiculed for standing out of the chorus, right? But they have to also be themselves, which every single person is a snowflake, their own unique person, right? So the song is like this very like thematically.
It's true. I've never really thought about the lyrics of the song, to be honest.
It's so good. It is so good. And this is the first time they perform in the show. It is also the finale. We'll get to the finale. But as they're rehearsing it, it's filled with, like, they play it in a minor key at times. It's filled with tension.
Yeah.
It's everyone. It's kind of that point in the show where like everyone's tired.
This is it.
They've been auditioning for a long time now. The music is kind of eerie and scary and intense. So Paul, at the beginning of the show, is the one who
there's a break. Go ahead. Yes, there's a break, but Paul is asked to come back and talk to, because he was reluctant to talk about.
Well, he's not asked back. He's asked questions throughout the course of the show, and he gives very short. I don't want to talk about
that. I don't want to talk about that.
And then at one point during Hello 12, Hello 13, he walks across the stage and he's like, what am I going to say when he calls on me? Like, it's very like that situation. So you like the whole show, you're like, oh, Paul is nervous about something. Paul does not want to share something, right? So then Paul comes onto the stage. Zach is already sort of like at his lowest point. He's frustrated with Cassie. He's tired as well.
Right. Yes.
And Paul comes out and is like, if I don't open up, are you not going to let me in this show? Zach kind of is like, indulges him and is like, well, just talk to me. Like, tell me, why did you want to first get into dance, right? And we find out that Paul, like, is a gay man who his dad was really into movies, and so his dad would take him to the movie theater, and he loves the musicals the most, right? And then he lives in New York, and his first job was like at a drag show.
And he gets molested.
Oh, yeah. No, you're right. He said
he had bad eyesight.
Mm-hmm.
And so he sat in the front row,
mm-hmm.
and men would come
away from his dad. And well, even Zach was like, you saw these movies on 42nd Street? Didn't your like dad know that that's like a dangerous, like
rough part of town?
Yeah. And he was like, he really didn't know. And like, we were poor and like,
but whatever. So he's
molested as a child as well. But then he ends up working at a drag show as his first sort of job in show business.
Right. He wants to be a dancer, and they're like, hey, you've got nice legs. Come this way.
Yeah. So they shave his legs, they put him in the nylons, and do the whole thing. But he's lying to his parents, right? He's like, I'm in a Broadway show. I'm in the chorus of a Broadway show. And they're so thrilled. They're so proud of him. And then he's gonna go on a tour.
Yeah, he's going to Chicago.
And so they're like, oh, we'll bring your bag down to the theater for you so we can say goodbye to you. And he doesn't say no. Which he kind of recounts. He's like, I don't know why I didn't say no.
But it seems like there's something about this show or wherever he's performing that there are chorus members or something, but also drag, in my mind.
To me,
otherwise, why would he say yes? Anyway,
I think
it wasn't an overt.
Part of me thinks
he wanted them to know.
Yeah, part of me thinks it was like I like from personal experience too of like making very strange decisions, and I'm going to talk about one that completely relates to this show. And you go, why did I do that? You're like, because it was a cry for help. And even like it's just a strange thing. But Paul has his parents show up at the theater, and they don't recognize him at first because he's in drag, and then it clicks.
They show up early.
Yeah, they show up early.
Yeah.
And they gasp and are horrified, and then he has to go on stage, and then he comes off stage, and they won't look at him in the eye. And they give him his bag, and like his mom says she loves him, and they're leaving, and his dad turns to like the producer of the show and is like, take care of my son. And then they leave, and it's so heartbreaking, and he breaks down crying, and Zach goes and like comforts him, and it's sort of him like actually accepting himself for the first time, talking about this for the first time. Watershed moment in Broadway history, right? That like this character is out and talking about their experiences. It's not in a song either, which I think is beautiful and a beautiful choice for this show, right? Because it's the first time that like the story of a chorus member, which is very commonly a gay man, is being told, and it's really beautiful. I have to. This is so cringe, and this is so like such a horrible story. I auditioned with this monologue for George Fox University's theater program. I know, and this was when I was telling people I was
gentle
straight.
Listeners. My eyes.
I know.
We're wide.
So I was living in Florida, working for Disney Entertainment. Everyone around me was gay. I was still telling people that I was straight. I still believed I was straight. I knew that I like...
My God.
I literally was like, it was horrible. I chose this monologue, and I was like, yeah, I can relate to this because I know that I'm like attracted to guys, but I'm straight. It's fine. It's whatever. And so I auditioned with this, and I'm sure all my teachers were like, okay, this poor gay boy is gonna come out to us eventually. It'll all make sense later. So anyway, that's my little connection. This show means so much to me, and it's just such a such a moment. I can't dance, so I'll never be in this show. I can dance, but I can't dance like they can.
I would say
Paul
dance 2, look 6.
Yeah. No. Dance. I'm gonna give myself a solid
8. I'll give myself
a solid 5. I think I can fake my way. I can't kick my face.
Good for you.
No.
I can't dance worth shit.
I
have horrible rhythm.
I love
when it comes to dancing.
But Paul is a dream role.
Okay.
And maybe I could actually do this. It was, by the way,
you said you were gonna cry today. Yeah.
Gentle
Speaking
listener,
of dancing,
gentle listener, just for the record, my monologue audition of Paul's monologue from A Chorus Line was shit, horrible trash, because I was not in a place to be open and honest with myself. I was living in Florida by myself. I had one of my old theater teachers who was working at Disney also record it. And I also think that was a cry for help. Kayleen, Andrea, if you're listening to this, I love you. And I am so sorry I put you in that situation.
They knew.
Horrible.
They knew what you needed at the time.
Yes, exactly. A terrible cry for help. Anyway,
Paul, back to 1.
He gets taken to the hospital, and it's this very like real moment for all of the dancers where they just know one accident and they're toast. Like dancing.
You all know. You know. You watch this scene and you know.
It is so devastating. It's
fucking
so
over
scary.
For Paul.
There's just silence. Everyone is like shocked and stunned. And Zach like
and everybody's like, hey, what does he need? Let's get him some pain meds, or let's get him to the doctor.
Once he leaves, it's like silence.
But like everybody knows. Yeah. And Paul knows it's over.
Yeah, it is really
2 weeks in a row. It's over.
It's definitely the like that part of the show. Zach comes on stage. He's there with all of them. And he starts asking them all, like, what would you do if you couldn't dance? Like,
if this was the last day, or if this is it, or whatever.
It's very No Day But Today Rent.
Yeah.
It's
agree 100%.
It's very that situation. What I was thinking about it too, because Rent is such a watershed moment also for representation, but sort of more that AIDS like crisis 80s, 90s representation. But this is the 70s. This is pre-AIDS. So that's not even like, if this were written in the 80s, Paul would have had AIDS. Like that would have been sort of like the theme that he's holding on to. It would have been like a disclosure of his diagnosis. So it's incredible that this happened pre-AIDS.
Yeah. So we get this beautiful song, What I Did for Love, and Diana takes the lead.
Yeah. And it's gorgeous. It's everything, like it's a whole song about what people sacrifice
today, goodbye,
to do what they love. It's sort of the what's the song in Tick Tick Boom? What a wonderful way to spend the day. He sings it in the park on the piano.
With the piano, you have the rain, and
it reminds me a lot of that song.
It's the wear your heart on your sleeve, go for it, no day but today.
Yeah. I sobbed through this last night watching it.
Yeah, like no regrets. Don't live with regrets.
Yeah.
Because you know, and then the general message of it is, I think, like, if today's the day where I have to say goodbye to dancing, I'm not regretting shit.
Yeah.
Because I went for it.
Yeah. And the song's really beautiful. Marvin Hamlish says they had a different song for this moment, but they needed like a more sort of like solid pop song for the score that could sort of like break out. And he was like kind of reluctant to write in that sort of way, right? I think they wanted like a good single song that could like have a life outside of the show. And so he wrote this for them. I think it works really well in the context of the show. So I think he found a really great balance. But it's a great song.
Well, in the context of the show, it really, it does work. And
Yeah.
what just happened? So,
and
listen
then we get to the apex of the movie or the musical, which is the moment that Zach has to choose out of the 17 people. How many how many slots? I think it's 8.
Yeah, it's like
8
4 boys, 4
dancers.
girls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what he does is he calls names first.
Step forward.
Yeah, step forward. And he starts listing names. He says Cassie's name. Cassie steps forward and she's all excited, right? And then he says, Cassie, actually step back. And she steps back into the line. And it's like, uh-oh, what's going on?
Oh, shit.
What's happening?
Yeah.
And then he says, everyone who stepped forward.
Thank you for coming today.
But you're cut.
And it's very businesslike.
It's horrid. And the music's playing.
And that's it's so sobering because the contrast, right? Because you've got the choreographer who's choosing these people and he's like,
I said I wouldn't, and I said I would, and I am. I'm crying.
There we go.
Just thinking about it.
But he's like, okay, so you're gonna get notification next week or whatever on when to be here, and and it's very, as a matter of fact, like,
yeah. And the people that have left are heartbroken. The people that are staying are like so overjoyed.
They're it's setting in to the people who have gotten it. Like
they got the job.
They got the fucking job, and the people who have left, of course, are just devastated and sort of sliding off stage in shock.
And the people, it's a very interesting group that make it. So in the movie, I think Sheila gets the job. Does she?
I think so.
Not in the musical. So Sheila is not in the final lineup. We have Mike.
I think you're right. Yeah, I can't remember.
Mike makes the cut. He's the I can do that guy. Cassie makes the cut.
Yeah.
Bobby was Sheila's kind of buddy throughout the play. Don't know anything about Bobby, but Bobby makes the cut. Judy. Also, Judy doesn't have a song. She's the one in the lime green in the movie who says that she just had like a mental episode, like a mental health situation, and the doctors told her it was too soon to like go back to dancing, and she does it anyway.
Oh, right.
So Judy makes the cut. Richie makes the cut. Val, those tits and ass got her the job.
And her dancing.
Mark, and then Diana. Diana makes the cut.
And then for the finale, we get a 1 reprise, and they're wearing their glittery gold outfits with their gold sparkly top hats.
It's upbeat and joyous. It starts with just the 8.
The chorus line.
Yes, the 8 that made it. And so you're like, oh, we're seeing the show. But then it ends with everyone.
Including.
And the curtain comes up, Paul. And there's these mirrors. Yes, Paul's there. It's kind of like heaven.
A little bit. It's a little bit. It's like the end of V for Vendetta or something like that. Totally. Like, and everybody shows up. It's like, all your people who died are actually alive.
Yeah, no, it's like, even though Paul did not die, but
I know.
In universe, he can't dance right now.
Yeah,
he's at the hospital.
And they show up. It's
but yeah, no, it's really beautiful. The curtain comes up. The mirrors in the back sort of extend the chorus into infinity, and there's just people dancing.
That's the end, and then it leads right into curtain call. The 1, and everybody gets their curtain call.
It's such a brilliant show.
What wine is this, Reid?
Patricia Green.
No, I mean, but
what kind of a wine is
what is
this
wine?
To me, chorus line is a red.
Okay. It's a rock.
Yeah, and it's
foundational.
It could be a Cabernet because no, I don't know. It's hard because it has these moments of lightness and fun and peppy numbers, but to me, it is a devastating show.
Or is it an unsung hero? I don't know if I want to say Pinot Gris in that way.
Oh, I see.
But like, maybe like a Cab Franc.
Yeah. No. You're right, because it's not the star grape, right?
Right. So
And
a Cab
yet
Franc
it's
is
one
something that gets blended in to a lot of,
Okay.
Cab blends, big red blends.
I see where
But
you're
a
going
lot of
with
people
this.
don't necessarily think of Cab Sauv.
Yeah,
It's
they're not going to go
star
seek
of
it
the
out,
show.
right?
Reid, your favorite number.
Hold up. Wait. Let me think about this.
No. Well, I'm thinking about I'm predicting yours.
I know, but I wanna think really quick about what I think my answer is gonna be. So I want to change it. Okay. I have it.
Okay.
If I had to keep one song out of all of these.
I think your favorite number is At the Ballet.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is the staple, right? It's such a good song.
It's gorgeous. It's perfect.
And shout outs to Nothing and Dance and Looks 3.
Okay.
Both incredible songs.
You're not going to get mine.
Am I not? No, it's I Can Do That.
I Hope I Get It is my favorite.
It is a great number.
But what really does it for me is, who am I anyway? Am I my resume? That
breaks my heart.
Slays me.
Yeah.
I'm dead. I'm done. That little part of that song is just musical theater perfection.
Yeah. So good.
Perfection. So that's my favorite song.
Such a beautiful
all right, ladies and gentlemen. So what are your thoughts on Chorus Line? Please let us know on the Patreon. Please let us know on the Facebook or Instagram. What are your thoughts on it? Is this a show that you love, that you have always loved, or is it a show that's kind of new for you? Is it something that like you saw that we were covering this and you thought, oh, maybe I'll give that a try. Maybe I should, or whatever. Let us know.
Let us know also, like, if you have suggestions on what you want to hear from us about whatever you think. We love feedback. Also, are there tell us which shows you want us to talk about. We'll take suggestions. We'll figure that out.
We will indeed.
And maybe y'all will inspire us with suggestions.
You never know.
We'll have a meeting off mic.
We will indeed. Now, and then one more thing. We joke about the Patreon, but in truth, we would love your Patreon support.
We really would.
$5 a month would help us even just a tiny bit.
Yeah. And you get early access to
the shows,
to the episodes. We're figuring out what kind of other things that we can do for the Patreon. So again, send us suggestions. What would you want that extra bonus material to be? Stefan and I can figure it out.
We'll make it happen.
Yeah.
We've got the time.
We'll do a lot of things.
All right. Our wine.
Give us your money.
This absolutely
we want to go to New York.
We do want to go to New York. Our Patricia Green Pinot Noir, absolutely delicious. Doesn't disappoint. Go visit Patricia Green over there. Caroline, one of my favorite people in the Valley, does a wonderful job hosting tastings.
Caroline or change.
Yeah. And I absolutely love these wines. Go check them out. We have not decided on next week's show because this was the end of our series on formative musicals.
Yeah.
So you'll have to check out our Patreon or Instagram, Facebook, whatever, for when we announce what we're going to do next week. And give us your thoughts on that show. Maybe it'll be, who knows? Maybe it'll be Cats. Maybe we'll just start
pulling musicals out of a bowl.
Pulling them out of a bowl?
Yeah, that would be crazy. Fun.
Well,
it would keep it random.
That would be extremely random. And just put every
musical
GD musical in.
Yeah.
That sounds chaotic.
Kind of would be fun.
Or do we start another series?
Yeah.
Do we start a series
Let us know what you think.
Sondheim series?
Yeah, or a Rodgers and Hammerstein series.
Yeah, formative musicals. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. The most gay musicals.
Yeah, we'd Lacage. We could do Fun Home. We could do.
Yeah. There's
the
so much potential. So much potential.
Priscilla,
All right,
Queen of the Desert.
ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening. We will see you next time.
Goodbye.